It's safe to say that most people who use Word at some time or another have used tabs to place text somewhere to the right of the left margin. Typically, people who are making a form and they have some paragraphs, and then after that, the field data, name, address, phone number, they'll use tabs to place that field information over to the right, or writing a business letter and wanting to put the date in the upper right of the page, they'll use tabs to make the date go over to the right. I say tabs rather than a single tab because while most people know what a tab stop is, they don't know how to set one in Word. And that's what we are going to do in this video. What we need to do first, though, is set the ruler to be visible on a page. Now, those of you who already have the ruler displayed, just hang on while I get everybody else to have theirs displayed. And the way that you do that is you go to the View tab on the ribbon. So this is a View tab. It controls how Word looks. And we're going to go over to the Show section and select Ruler. And now you see that the ruler appears at the top of the page. There's a lot to the ruler. We're not going to go into it in this video, but this is where you're going to set your tab stops. Now, the second thing that I want to do, and it's really helpful, is to see the formatting marks. A lot of people have these turned off, so it's going to be a bit of a revelation when you see them turned on. We're going to go to the Home tab on the ribbon, and in the Paragraph section, we're going to click this backward P. That shows the formatting marks. What you're seeing right there is a paragraph mark. If I press enter, I get a few more of them. If I put in some spaces, you can see the spaces. Now, what you're going to see when we're doing this, because we're going to be working with tabs, is you're also going to see tab characters. Now, before I go any further, I just want to do one other thing that you don't necessarily need to do, and that is I'm going to increase the zoom to 120% to make it a little bit easier for you to see what we're doing here. So in the lower right of the window on the status bar is where we're going to increase the zoom. Although, if you like, you can just do it by holding down the Control key or the Option key on a Mac and spinning the mouse wheel. Well, we're going to go down here and increase the zoom once, twice, and that's 120%. A little bit easier to see. Now, let's show what people generally do when they want to put the date over to the right side of a page. They start pressing the Tab key to move over to the right. And so, as I do that, you can see tab characters being inserted. Now, Word's default is that each tab character is a ½ inch to the right. So for us to get over to about 5.5 inches, we're going to have to keep pressing a while. And I think a lot of people are used to doing this, maybe just not seeing it. So right around 5.5 seems like a good place to drop our date. And so we'll put in today's date, November 6th. And of course, we're going to put the year 2018. Oh, that's unfortunate. We went to the next line. Well, everybody knows how to fix that. You just go here to the left of November, backspace once, get rid of the tab. And here we are. We're at 5 inches over and everything fits. So most people at this point want to go home. They've done it. They don't care. It's where they need it. But since you're watching this video, you want to know how to set a tab stop at 5 instead of tabbing out to 5. So first thing we need to do is get rid of these tabs. So you can either just continue backspacing, or now that you can see the tab characters, you can highlight them just like they're any other character and delete. Either way, you want to get back over to that left margin. Now, to set a tab, it's really simple. Just click on the ruler where you want the tab stop to be. In our case, it's 5. So we're on a Windows machine. We're going to click under the 5. If we're on a Mac, we go a little bit above or into the 5, more or less halfway up in the ruler. And we can set the tab stop simply by a click. So I'm going to roll over there. And now I'm at the ruler. When I click, I'm going to click and hold. And what you see is a vertical line that's going down the document. And that's showing you where that tab stop is going to be. Now, when I let go, you're going to see something else. You're seeing now the left tab marker at the 5. In Windows, it's an L. That's just a coincidence. Doesn't really mean anything. that it's an L. It's not like if you set a different kind of tab, which is a right tab, that's going to be an R. It's just the way that it's done here on the Mac. It's a little bit different. It's a right angle arrow, but either way, you're going to have this marker there. Now that says we have a tab stop. So with the tab stop, all we need is a tab. And so we go back over to November 6, 2018. And when we press tab this time, we only need to press it once. And when we do, out we go. And now we've just utilized our tab stop by having a tab character, and we go right out to that 5-inch mark. That's as simple as it gets for setting a tab. Now, if you don't like it out at the 5 and you want to move it left or right, you just click on it. And then you can go move it over to the left, or you can move it back over to the right. Now, let's say that you wanted to add a second tab. Let's say somewhere between 1 and 2 inches. So right about here. Now, again, we're going to click and just display where it's going to be. When you look at this line, however, you see that we only have one tab. So when we actually set this tab stop, that date is going to snap back to the left to hit that first tab stop, because again, we only have one tab. So when we do that, here we are, because that's the tab it encountered. In order to get the date back out where we had it, when there was only one tab stop, we just press tab again. Now we've got two tabs, two tab stops, and the text that's associated with our second tab stop is where it should be. So you might say, well, what's the difference here? I'm using 2 tabs. I could have 10 tabs. What's the difference? Well, the difference is it's only 2, but more so, it's exactly where you want it. You want it at 5, and you want the other one somewhere between 1 and 2. Okay, well, what am I going to do with this? Well, this is why we set things where we want them. We could have the return address start at that first tab stop, so we could have the top line of it. So if you click over there, you can see where the cursor is blinking, and we'll do 82 2nd Street. And so now what you have is the 2 tab stops being used, and the first one is for the return address, and the second one is for the date. And that's really it. Just go up to the ruler, click where you want a tab stop, and then just put in a tab or 2, depending on how many tab stops you have. And finally, if you want to get rid of a tab stop that you've set, so let's say that we wanted to get rid of the one that's at 5, we simply go up to it, click on it again as if we were going to move it, only this time we are going to move it. We're going to move it down or off the ruler, and when we do that, it disappears. And what happens at that point then is it just picks up the next half-inch increment after the 82 2nd Street. We probably should do another video that goes into a little bit more advanced tab handling, but for now, you'll know exactly what you need to know to set it. Go to the ruler, click on it where you want the tab stop, use the tab key, and you're good to go.